There's one thing that holds all of us back from becoming the best versions of ourselves, and it happens to us all the time. And we have to actively work our way out of this situation almost on a daily basis, usually on a daily basis. That one thing we're going to talk about today is scarcity mindset. My name is Tom. I'm the founder of Vertical Motion, where we help mid-career professionals become executives. If that's interesting to you, you're a mid-career professional, someone at the senior manager, junior director, or high-level individual contributor level, and you're wanting to move to the executive ranks, there's a link down below that explains how this all works and what kind of programs we offer to help you accomplish that. So you can learn more down there, or you can follow me on Instagram at TomCoxVM, where I talk about skills and tips as I do as well on this channel. So love for you to stick around, enjoy this channel, but also check out our Instagram feed as well. So with that, let's dive into, we're talking today about scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset is what holds everyone back, including me, from becoming the best version of ourselves that we absolutely can become if we're in the right mindset, called an abundance mindset. We're going to talk about the difference today between scarcity mindset, abundance mindset, and then how to shift from one to the other, which is a neat trick that I've learned over time. So stick around for that. You're going to love this trick at the end. First of all, let's dive into what is a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset is a way of thinking that's based on the fear of your resources, your opportunities, and your successes are all limited and hard to come by. We're obsessed with the lack of something, the lack of time to do things, the lack of money to accomplish things. We're afraid that we're going to run out of time or run out of money, right? We have difficulty focusing on anything else except for that lack of resource as we're kind of going through our life. And this scarcity mindset really impacts our decision-making, our behaviors, and our overall outlook on life. When you are afraid that you are going to run out of money, you do not want to invest, which usually that's exactly the time to make an investment is when you know you need to make more money than you're getting right now. So it's kind of counterintuitive that when you are running out of money, that's the thing that you need to give in order to get more of the money later. It's hard to see it that way when you're in a scarcity mindset because all you can see is dollars going out. You can't see the dollars coming back to you from that investment right away. Things that happen when you're in a scarcity mindset, we start to hoard things. We'll hoard money, we'll hoard time, we'll hoard things. We'll kind of like hold on to it, say mine, and not share and not be willing to let go or part ways with those things. We tend to cling to toxic relationships or toxic jobs even. I had one client, she was amazing. She worked for an organization for 12 years and they treated her like crap for 8 of them. And she just hung in there for all those years until she was so worn down that she was ready to make a change. And it was because she was clinging to this toxic work environment because she was afraid of what would happen if she let go and didn't have even that job, which was bearable, barely tolerable, right? This scarcity mindset can actually be passed on generationally from your parents to you and you to your children. So be mindful of this. It can also happen when we go through a traumatic experience that can create scarcity. I know that when I went through cancer, I was very concerned about how much time I had to do this, that, or the other. And I became very worried that I wasn't going to have enough time to do all things I want to do in life. Traumatic experiences can change our scarcity mindset. When you have a scarcity mindset, your worldview is really skewed. So one of the things that is a big identifier of a scarcity mindset is having a zero-sum perspective, right? This is where someone has to lose in order for someone else to win. There's only so much to go around. There's only so much pie, right? Like, so for someone to have a larger slice of the pie, someone else has to have a smaller slice. So in a scarcity mindset, no one thinks about baking a second pie. Depletion of all your resources, time and money, you think of those as being things that are finite and they're gone eventually and they cannot be replenished. This is not necessarily true, especially with money. Time is a depleting resource, but you can learn how to spend your time more effectively with a different mindset than scarcity. And finally, you see the world as being very unfair when you're in a scarcity mindset. There's an unequal distribution of opportunities, money, resources. It's not fair to you. It's not fair that someone else has more than you. I like to say that comparison is the thief of joy. Every time I compare myself to someone who's better off than me, I get upset. I forget to compare myself to the 90% of the world that doesn't have it as well as I do when I'm in that mindset. Remember that this unfairness is just a place or a perspective that you have when you are in a scarcity mindset. So how does scarcity mindset show up in our careers? Well, our career is how we make money. And money is what we use to pay for our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is a promise not only to ourselves, but to others as well. So if you have a spouse or a significant other or a partner or children or other family members like parents who rely on you and your income, when we mess around with our career, when we lose our job or we're afraid of losing our job, that messes with our addiction to mortgage payments and going to the grocery store and things like that. And so we get to this place of scarcity where we're afraid that if we don't, focus on just the thing that we have, then we're going to run out of everything. So most people live paycheck to paycheck. And quite honestly, here in 2024, everything costs 40% more than it did in 2019 for all kinds of reasons. But everything's at least 40% more at the grocery store for sure. But your salary didn't go up 40% over those last 5 years. Most people didn't have their salary increase that much. And so there's this feeling of scarcity that comes into your career. Not only are you afraid of that your current job isn't good enough anymore to take care of this quality of lifestyle that you promised, but you're afraid you might even lose that as well because there's so many stories about layoffs and downsizing and all of the things that are happening out there in corporate America. Scarcity mindset can lead to a couple bad outcomes. One of them is not being willing to invest in yourself. You want to save that precious money for the expected bad outcomes. You know that there's a bad outcome coming and you need to have money for it. So you refuse to invest in yourself with the resources you have in order to grow yourself. It also means not believing in yourself. You have this feeling of inevitability of bad outcomes, right? And I'm very susceptible to this one. I have it in my head that every time I work out, I gain weight, which is true. But at some point, if I keep working out, I'll lose weight. And so there's this belief, you stop believing in yourself if you have a mindset of scarcity. And finally, you start to not like yourself very much. And this leads to a very, very dark place if you're not careful. It reinforces a negative flywheel. And so what I mean by a flywheel is there's a little bit of momentum that says you're not good enough. That leads to being willing to invest in yourself. That leads to believing in yourself less than you believe in others. And that leads to liking yourself less and so forth. And you get this negative flywheel effect that can spiral down into some pretty dark places. And I've been to a couple of those places. So scarcity mindset is something that I've dealt with a lot in my life. So I'm very familiar with this topic. What I was less familiar with until after cancer was what an abundance mindset is and how to get there. So let's shift topics and talk about that now. So an abundance mindset, what is an abundance mindset? Well, an abundance mindset is a belief that there are enough resources in the world for everyone and that life's possibilities truly are limitless. People who have an abundance mindset tend to be very optimistic. The future looks much better than the past. People who are present, you're living in the now, the here and now, you're present, you're here, you're physically and emotionally and spiritually connected to what's happening around you. You're experiencing life at its fullest when you are present. That's when you have a mindset of abundance, you feel that way. You feel generous. You're willing to give back or pay it forward to others, right? You're willing to let go of your resources to help others because you know helping others will lead back to good things for you in the long term. You're happy for others' successes. You're not angry or disappointed that someone else got a promotion or that a good friend won the lottery, or you're happy for them. You're not jealous. You're not angry. You're not upset. You're happy for their successes. It allows you to make better decisions than when you're in a scarcity mindset. It makes you want to plan for the future, and it helps you embrace change as a positive thing. And this is important. We're going to talk about change a little bit more down below, but embracing change and being willing to accept that everything has a season, maybe better, maybe worse, but change is actually ultimately always a good thing for us because we grow through it, right? Those are mindsets that you have when you're in an abundance mindset. The worldview from someone in an abundance mindset, very different from someone with a scarcity mindset. They feel a sense of exponential growth. What I mean by that is that a good leader will add value, but a great leader will multiply value. And what that looks like is a good leader makes everyone around them a little bit better at what they do. A great leader makes everyone around them good leaders. And so when you are like this, when you're in an abundance mindset, your growth as a leader grows others, who in turn grow the whole for everyone, including you. And that leads to exponential growth. It's this positive flywheel, if you will, right? An abundance mindset also leads to ingenuity. Someone with a worldview of abundance mindset also is high in ingenuity. It's easier than ever in the history of humanity right now to develop breakthrough solutions that improve how things are done. Think about this. Right now, anyone on your team can build an invention that changes the way things are done from the ground up. We're learning all kinds of new things and new techniques and new ways to get things done. AI is changing everything right now. There's so many ways to use all of these new tools available to us to make the world a better place. So someone with a mindset of abundance sees all of those possibilities. Someone in scarcity can't. And finally, opportunity. More people can connect to combine their abilities with others in ways that make the future bigger and brighter than the past. The internet is a lot of things. You and I are talking through it right now. So this is one of the positive sides of the internet, that good people connect with good people and they resonate. They find their tribe. They find who their constituents and cohorts and people that they resonate with online. There's also lots of negative things about the internet. We'll talk about them right now. But the positive side of the internet is that more than ever, people can connect to combine their resources in ways that we never would have thought possible in the past. And we can make the future better because of that. Lots of great ideas coming together in order to how to improve the environment, how to become a spacefaring race, how to make energy free and easy and cheap and clean. All of these things that are out there that are being worked on now by people. If you're in an abundance mindset, you think about those kinds of things. How does abundance mindset affect your career? Well, if you are in a mindset of abundance, you might only be making so much money today, but you know that you are working to make twice as much later in your life, in your career, right? You see what you have now as only the stepping stone to what you will have in the future. And again, it's not about having these things. It's about having these resources to use them, not just for yourself, but for others as well. That's how we think about things in a mindset of abundance. You have to realize there are thousands of roles that are out there that are just right for you. Your next step can be one of 1,000 different positions that are out there, and you just have to find them. A mindset of abundance allows you to think about things that way. It also allows you to even better realize that you can create your own opportunities. 4 of the executive roles that I held, I created myself, or with the help of the hiring manager. Someone said, I really want you on my team. Let's create a position for you. Let's focus on your strengths and not have you work on your weaknesses. We can do that. That's part of having a mindset of abundance, right? And even better than all of that is realizing that you can create opportunities for yourself and for others as well, right? So you can create an opportunity, for example, creating Vertical Motion, this whole organization that I created. We have 8 employees. Those are 7 other people besides me who now have a livelihood based on helping people achieve their dreams and goals and aspirations in their executive career journeys. They love what they do. I love what I do. The clients love what we do with them. Everyone is happy. That's positive abundance mindset at work there. You can create opportunities not just for yourself, but for other people as well. And when you are in a mindset of abundance, these ideas come to you. So an abundance mindset leads to investing in yourself and others. You spend resources today to generate even more resources tomorrow that you can use on yourself, on your family, on people who work with you, on things that are important to you, the environment, other causes, things like that, right? So when you're in an abundance mindset, you're willing to and excited about investing in yourself because you know that whatever you invest in yourself will return itself 10 times or more over. It's also about believing in the best version of yourself and others, right? There's this inevitability of personal growth. No matter whether there's good times or hard times or challenges, when you're in a mindset of abundance, you believe that it's inevitable that you will grow as a person. And finally, in a mindset of abundance, you are at peace with who you are right now. You know that you're going to be a better version of yourself because you're constantly investing in yourself. And there's only one way to go when you invest in yourself, and that's up. So you know that. So you're comfortable with who you are today. You may not be the person you want to be, but you know that you're good enough and that you're growing to become an even better version of yourself. That actually creates a positive flywheel and reinforces a positive flywheel, which is the opposite of the negative flywheel. This positive flywheel is you invest in yourself, you believe in the best version of yourself, and that leads to being at peace with who you are, knowing you're going to get better because you continue to invest in yourself and so forth. And so you can see how one of these mindsets spins everything backwards and the other one spins everything forwards for you. And that's why it's so important to understand these two mindsets and be aware. Be aware of which one you are in at a given moment. That is scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. How do you shift from scarcity to abundance? And this is a really neat trick that I picked up recently that has really changed how I think about things. Whenever I get into a dark place, I use this tool. So let's talk through this. First and foremost, practice gratitude. I know that sounds kind of like new worldy and all of that, but let's talk about this, okay? There is some strange science here about how gratitude and fear cannot be felt at the same time. Your brain cannot process gratitude and fear at the same time. So when you are in a state of fear, concern or anger or whatever, if you stop and think about what you're grateful for right now, list 5 things that you're grateful for. When you do that, it shifts the way your brain works into an entirely different way of thinking. And if you can do this, you can pull yourself out of a state of fear very fast. And you can sit there and say, like, you can be angry and frustrated and like staring at your bank account and realizing it's going to zero and there's nothing you can do about it. And you know, your wife's going to be mad at you and it's over and like, you know, you're going to lose the house and, you know, oh my goodness, all of that. If you stop, take a breath and say, I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for the opportunity to live where I do. I'm grateful that I had such a great childhood. I'm grateful that I beat cancer. I'm grateful for, you know, my time at school or my time in the Army. Like when you take a step back and think about what you're grateful for, it takes you out of that mindset of fear and scarcity very fast, like super fast. It's a weird trick that I absolutely love now. I practice journaling gratitude every day. Every morning I have a journal that I go through and I kind of journal my gratitude for what am I grateful for today, right? I recommend that you wake up and think about what you're grateful for so you can get yourself into that abundance mindset and keep yourself there by falling asleep thinking about things that you're grateful for as well. The other thing that you can do here is to examine your limiting beliefs and then embrace empowering beliefs. So let's talk through this. So examining your limiting beliefs. All of us have these unconscious beliefs that we hold about ourselves and about the world. These unconscious beliefs prevent us from seeing opportunities to change and improve. And it comes from both positive and traumatic life experiences and our environment, not just the one we're in, but environments we've lived in the past as well. And this is why a scarcity mindset can be handed down generationally. Previous environments, previous experiences can lead to a scarcity mindset and create these limiting beliefs that hold us back from seeing what's possible in the world. Limiting beliefs are like lids over our head, and you cannot grow past a limiting belief until you've conquered it. For example, if you believe that you do not deserve happiness, you will not be happy. There's nothing that anyone can do to help you be happy if you don't believe you deserve happiness. That's a limiting belief for a lot of people that I've talked to. There's a lot of people who believe that they don't deserve to move up in their career because, well, they haven't done anything to earn it. They're not really worthy, right? And they're using a metric that is kind of impossible to define and certainly impossible to overcome or achieve. So they just feel like, well, it's just never going to happen for me. It might happen for someone else, but not me. That's a limiting belief that's going to hold you back forever, no matter how good your resume is, no matter how good your interviewing skills are. It doesn't matter. If you don't believe that you're ready for the next level, you're not going to get there. So you have to understand what you're focused on. So if you're focused on wishing ill for someone else, for example, you can be angry at someone else who got promoted because they use politics, but that's a little bit like swallowing a poison, hoping they get sick from it. When you wish ill on someone else, you only make yourself sick by doing that. Those kinds of limiting beliefs really hold us all back. Think about what limiting beliefs are holding you back right now. And how can you fix them? Well, we embrace empowering beliefs and change, right? So when you define a limiting belief, consider that the opposite is probably equally true for you. For example, limiting belief, I don't have enough money. I've been there many, many times. Every time I worry about how much money we have, I remind myself, I can find enough money by doing something in my career, in my business, in my life, whatever, right? Whenever I feel like I don't have enough money, instead of thinking to myself, I have to be very careful with my scarce resources, my scarce amount of money, I have to really protect and hunker down. No, I don't think that way anymore. I used to think that way a lot. And now how I think about things is, how can I make more money? How can I build more resources? How can I get other people to want to build the things with me that I want to build so that I don't have to pay money to have those things built? I think about things in terms of like, how does everyone have success? And that leads to me having more success. When you shift a limiting belief to an empowering belief and you take that lid off, sky's the limit. Up you go. Up you go. I see it all the time. I can't count how many times I have watched clients go from, I'm never going to get promoted, woe is me, they don't like me, everyone plays politics, I don't know how to do that stuff, right? We work together and they realize they don't need politics to be successful. They just need to be awesome and be amazing at what they do and make sure that everyone knows how awesome they are. And then all of a sudden, up they go. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to watch. And I've seen it happen so many times. Change is inevitable. And so stop fearing change, embrace it. And this was hard for me too, right? Like we lived in the same house for 10 years. And before that, we lived in another house for about 8 years. And so we kind of were in these, places in Georgia for a long time. I should have spent like 20 years in Georgia in these two houses. And the thing is that like we had this mindset that like, this is all life will be. It will always look this way. This kind of house, this kind of environment, this kind of neighborhood, these kinds of friends and family and whatever. That's only one perspective of billions of perspectives. Could live anywhere in the world. Like I have friends in Portugal. I talked to a friend of mine in Germany this morning, and like they live all over the world. They have these amazing experiences that are different than mine, right? Both positive and negative, but they're different, right? And so when you realize that things can change, when they do change, sometimes they change for the better, sometimes they change for the worse. But if you embrace the change, you're going to be far more successful in your life and you're going to be far happier about those changes. A sad change would be when a loved one passes away, right? We almost lost our dog recently, and it was kind of tough on us to think about that. But I just think about like, okay, well, if and when I guess, our dog passes, we're going to miss her and it's going to be sad. But it's also going to open up opportunities for us to maybe have a different kind of pet or maybe experience life without a pet for a while. And that's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just different. And that's the thing about change, is to understand that change means things are different. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily better or worse. And really, our outcomes are based far more on how we react than actually what happens to us. So how did I handle cancer? I decided to use cancer as an opportunity to pause and reflect and think about what matters in my life. And whether I had weeks or years left to live, what did I want to do with that time? And it's amazing to me that I do this for a living. I coach, I teach on YouTube. It's an amazing thing that I do, quite honestly. I love doing it. I love working with clients. And that wouldn't have happened had I not taken the opportunity to take that big change in my life, going from healthy to having weeks left to live, to really dial in my perspective on what's important to me, what matters to me, and then just live fully in that expression of myself as much as I have over the last year and a half since I was diagnosed. Finally, I'll just say it's my opinion that the best executives live in a mindset of abundance. And I will be candid with you, I can't always stay there. I've been in a mindset of scarcity a couple times even today, and it's just part of the human condition. But if you can stay in a mindset of abundance for as long as possible, especially when you're making key decisions in life, it's going to help you make the best decisions. There's always more to be built. There's always more to be found. There's always more to be created. There's always more to go around than you think there is. No matter how bad a situation is, there's a way forward that benefits as many as possible. And it's your job as a leader to find that. While executives should be pragmatic and prepare for a rainy day or a recession, you don't want a jittery, anxious person leading an organization. You want someone who's confident in their ability to steer the ship through the worst storms and navigate the biggest challenges. And that's what this is about. It's about being that leader who understands that change is inevitable. There are limiting beliefs that hold us back. We can shift them to empowering beliefs, and that there's always a way to rise the tide so that all ships move up, not just one. Zero-sum games are only for losers at the end of the day, right? If you want a win-win situation, keep yourself in a mindset of abundance. You can help others grow, and you can create positive outcomes, not just for yourself, but everyone around you. So that's what I have for you today. Conversation about scarcity and abundance mindset. A little bit longer video. Apologize for that. But I just wanted to kind of flow through this a little bit and kind of talk with you the way that I talk to my clients on our Tuesday night weekly group calls. We have this weekly group call called The Main Event, and there's about 50 to 60 people who join out of the 100 people in the cohort. And we talk about these topics. We talk about these concepts, and it's just this format, me and a Notion document, just kind of talking through things. And then we have a great discussion reflection afterwards. If you're interested in learning more about being inside of that kind of environment, the link down below will help you find how to book a call and learn how to take the next step in your career, building a mindset of abundance, getting rid of that mindset of scarcity, moving yourself forward. Because listen, the truth is, and this is true not just for your executive career, but for anything you do in life, if you want to be successful in growing, you have to be in a mindset of abundance. You cannot be in a mindset of scarcity. It will not work. You will not grow in a mindset of scarcity. So that's what I got for you today. I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.